Okay, welcome to the second WWC podcast. We're going to do a hot and sour soup tonight, and just going to do a little bit of prep work for you and show you how this is done. The mushroom for this is something called a wood ear, and this is what it looks like. This has been compressed about 10 times, and the other dry ingredient is this lily flower, and what we're going to do is we're going to boil some water, and we're going to just drop this in, and then drop in a handful of the lily flower. And if you follow the directions on the package, it's going to say just to soak it in hot water, but what I find happens if you just do that, you get a you don't cook out all of the mushroominess and liliness. Is that a word, Lodge?
It is now.
And there you have it. And you end up getting something that tastes like really foot soup. Anyway, so we're going to...
Liliness foot soup.
Liliness foot soup. So we're just going to boil this for about 15 minutes, and we'll be back to introduce the rest of the ingredients. Alright, so just want to highlight some of the ingredients that go into soup. Last time we made a, do you want to say it, Lodge?
Je ne sais quoi.
Tom sao gung.
Dom sao gung, that's right.
Yeah, and this
that's time... What I said.
And tom sao gung I think I said in the cookbook that it's as easy as proving that every Lindelof space is normal. That's not quite technically true. It's actually even easier than that. It's almost more like proving that, you know, that...
The theorem corrects itself.
Well, I would even say, you know, that the empty set with the discrete topology is a Hausdorff space. There's like nothing to check. Here, you're gonna have to do a little bit more work.
That's what I was thinking.
So we've got the mushrooms, and notice how they've really expanded in size, and we've just chopped them along with the lily flower. If you can't find wood ear, don't panic. You can go and buy the little baby portobello mushrooms, and probably about 3/4 of a cup of those, and just slice them fine, and that'll be quite tasty as well.
Wait, an aside. What are those things you put in the water and they expand into like these animals that are sponges? Remember those?
I do. I don't know what they were called though.
Yeah, if anybody knows, comment on this.
All right, so we've got the mushrooms. I've got 8 ounces of water chestnuts and 8 ounces of bamboo shoots. And I was lazy, so I just bought them already chopped up. And then we've got tofu. This is 15 ounces of tofu that I've cut up. Okay, and so I've got a whole bunch of stuff in here. First, I've got half a cup of soy sauce. I assume you know what soy sauce is. If you don't, then you probably shouldn't be making this. We've got 2 teaspoons of Vietnamese chili garlic sauce, which I've conveniently misplaced. And it's this stuff, and you can find this at your Asian grocer for about $1.50, or you can go to your mega market and they'll probably charge you $4 or $5. Take your pick. We also have 2 tablespoons of Thai sweet chili sauce, which is this stuff. And this is really, I think, the magical ingredient, because this recipe was inspired by a little hole-in-the-wall joint I used to go to when I lived in St. Louis, and trying forever to get sweetness. How do you get sweetness, Lodge?
Sugar?
Yep, that's what I tried, but it turns out sweet chili Thai sauce. And then we've got 2 teaspoons of sesame seed oil. Okay. And 1/4 cup of Italian white wine vinegar.
So that's all in here?
And that's been all put in there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And the recipe is available on a link that you should probably have. And then finally, I've made a slurry, which is just cornstarch and water, and this is just 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. I messed up a little bit. I probably put about a half a cup of water here. You probably only need about 1/4 cup, and that will actually be added in last. And so I said that this was really easy, and it is. Essentially, we're just going to put all of these things in with some chicken stock, bring to the boil, and we'll be done. So to show you just how easy this is, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to read, and Lodge is going to dump. So Lodge, why don't you dump in the mushrooms and lily flowers?
The lily is thingies?
Lilies of the field.
Lilies of the field.
Lilies of the mushroom field.
Mushrooms and lilies dumped. Okay.
Now go in with the bamboo shoots and water chestnuts.
Yum. Come on, my hands are clean.
Tofu.
Tofu. Is it true that tofu isn't real meat?
Tofu, I believe, is not real meat. I think if it were meat, many vegetarians would be none too pleased. And then finally dump in that bowl that has the soy sauce and the chili sauce and all that other sauce stuff. that we had talked about earlier. And then we're just going to bring this up to a boil. So if I were writing an article on children teaching mathematics, as Jima just sent me an email, then I would probably say something to the effect of, just to summarize, we've taken 7 cups of chicken stock, we've added all those ingredients we talked about, and we brought it up to a boil, and at this point, we just want to add our slurry. So this is what the slurry looks like. Again, this is 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, and again, I put a little bit too much water in here. About a quarter cup is all you need. What's important about adding cornstarch, though, if I added it right here to the pot while it's boiling, then it would basically seize. So I want to take it off the heat, add it, bring it back on the heat, and then stir. So that's the little technique there. And the cornstarch will not thicken until this thing comes back up to the boil. So we're going to bring it back up to the boil, it's going to thicken, and we're basically done, folks. I think Lodge's mom was asking me earlier, how long do we cook this soup for? You don't. You bring it up to the boil, and then that's it. Okay, the soup is just about back up to the boil. You can see it has thickened up. At this point, I actually will diverge from classical technique. Classical technique would say you take a couple of eggs at this point, and you scramble them, and then you put them in. I used to do that, but then I just realized they just don't add any flavor to the mix. It's Lodge, what's a good analogy for that?
It's like when you put a soccer ball on the football field.
And there you have it. It's like putting a soccer ball on the football field. It adds nothing, and I just think it just muddies up the soup and makes it... And then when you heat it up the next day, there's bits of egg floating around. You don't want that. We're making soup. We're not making scrambled eggs.
It confuses the fans.
It confuses the fans. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. See you back here soon.